I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for bringing the Eagles back together.
Man,
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I've had a lot of people that have tried to give me credit for that, and I've never really taken credit for it simply because of the fact that the way that came about um, in the mid 90s, the one of the record labels came up with the idea of doing a tribute album to the Eagles, and they wanted all of the current hit makers in country music to each do a cover of an Eagles song. And I think I was one of the last ones that was invited in because um, when I started being asked, well, what song do you want to do? Well, I'd like to do Desperado. Well, no, Clint Black's already doing that one. Or I'd like to do this song. Well, no, somebody else is already doing that. So I was kind of running out of options, and my attorney at the time suggested to me that I do Take It Easy because that was their first number one hit for the Eagles. And so I said, is that song taken? And they said, no, it's not taken. I said, well, great. So I went in and recorded it. And then a few months later, they sent me the entire album. And I sat and listened to it and just thought, man, everybody's performance on this album was just so great. And the thing that was special to me about it was the fact that the Eagles had become the soundtrack of my life. The first time I did a lot of things in my life, the first time I ever drove my father's car without him being with me, the first time that I ever went on a date, first time I ever kissed a girl, there was Eagles music playing in the background. And so it became literally like the soundtrack of my life. And so after we completed the album, I get a call one day from um, the Eagles management office, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna do. Uh, we want your single to be the first single off of this album." And I was honored. I was
Wow.
shocked. I was like, "Man, there's so many great performances." And they said, "We want you to be the first, and to promote it, we want you to do a video." And I was like, man, that's going to have to be a heck of a video to stand up to how good this album really is. And they said, well, what do you have in mind? And I'm just off the top of my head, I said something like, I don't know, maybe we should get the Eagles back together. And I just kind of laughed. And there was dead silence on the other end of the phone. And then a few days after that, apparently somebody took me seriously because they called back from the manager called back and said, look, I'm going to give you Don Henley's phone number and I'm going to give you Glenn Fry's phone number. And if you can get them to agree to be a part of this video, then we'll do it. And so we did. We called both of them, and both of them said the same thing. They said, well, if the other one does it, I'll do it. And so we knew that once we had Don and Glenn, that the rest of the Eagles would probably come in as well, and they all did. And so we ended up just shooting that video in a little cantina restaurant in Los Angeles in December of that year. And at the end of the video, they said they had a little bandstand set up over in the corner, and they had all the amps and a drum kit and everything. They said, we just want you guys to just act like you're playing along with the song. So I pick up a guitar and plug in. All the guys plugged in their instruments. Don sat behind the drum kit, and I just start playing the beginning of Rocky Mountain Way. Bump to bump to bump, bump, bump.
Great song.
And the band joined in, and I'm sharing a microphone. I'm this close to Joe Walsh singing Rocky Mountain Way. And that was the first song that the Eagles had played together in over like 14, 15 years. And I got to be an Eagle for a day. So
That's
it was just for me, it was one of those things that I think just kind of happened by accident, but you know, everything happens for a reason. And the timing of that was just perfect. So I don't take a lot of credit for getting them back together. I was just glad to be a part of it and glad to be involved in. And of course, that was kind of the beginning of the Hell Freezes Over tour,
one of my
which
favorite
took
albums. I
place,
saw that
uh,
tour.
yeah, another year later. So yeah, it was a great experience for me, and you know, I managed to maintain a really good friendship with both Glenn Fry right up until he passed away, and also with Don Henley as well. So I'm just honored that I had that opportunity to work with those guys because they meant so much to me musically.
That's awesome. They had a huge impact on everybody's life because, like you, we're the same age. Um, it was always on the radio. They were always around.
Yeah, absolutely.